What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Amtrak 458 coming at you with part 2 of the weathering demonstration for this Amtrak Kato P42DC. These are brand new engines from Kato that just came out. This one's the one with the tsunami sound. In part 1, I showed you the base weathering and how to go from not having the engine weathered at all to getting the base weathering down. If you didn't check out part 1, I'm going to go ahead and put a link below. So you can click on that link below, or I'll go ahead and put a link anywhere on the engine. So just go ahead and click on the engine, and that'll take you directly to part 1. You want to check that out, and then once you're done with that, go ahead and check out part 2. So in part 2 here, what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to the second step of weathering, which I like to call detail weathering, and this is completely optional. If you're happy with the engine the way it looks now, then you would move on to putting back all the parts, headlights, whatnot. If you want to add the detail weathering, then this is a video for you. What I mean by detail weathering is we're going to go ahead and weather up all these grills and such here, and throughout the video I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to show you how to mask off the grills and how to properly weather those. I'll show you some prototype pictures of what I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and do the wheels. And we'll paint the safety striping onto the ladders, and if there's enough time in this video, I'll show you how to apply detail parts. If not, that'll be in a separate video. But I'm going to go ahead and show you everything to do to really finish up this engine and make it look nice. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to begin or prepare to weather the grills on the engine, and we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to mask off the grills and weather them. First thing you want to do though is I'm going to go ahead and pop out the side ladders on the engine. The great thing about the Katos is these just slide right out just like that. So they're very easy to get out of the engine without damaging anything. Also, when you do this, please make sure that you get something soft. I just got a bathroom towel. The engine cradles are good, and that's what I would recommend using. I didn't have one, or I don't have one, so this is what I'm going to use. This will work. Anything soft, just so you don't damage the engine. We're going to weather the grills on the side of the engine here. That's all of these grills right here along the side. Cool thing is about the grills, these two, and same thing on the other side, is they actually pop out. So we're going to go ahead and pop those out of the engine. On the Athearn ones they did not, but on this one they do, and anything that's removable, that's easily replaceable, you're going to want to go ahead and take those out, just because it's going to be it'll be easier for you in the long run to do. So we're going to go ahead and take those out, and then I'm going to show you how to properly mask off the grills. Alright, so here's a prototype picture on my iPad of exactly what I'm talking about. You guys can see from this picture that these two rear grills here, as well as these three on the top, they're pretty much grimed out, they're dirty. So we're going to go ahead and weather those up nicely, just as the real one is. However, this grill up in the front is pretty much clean, so I'm actually we're going to mask that off, but we're going to do a very, very light dusting of grimy black over that. Maybe 1 or 2 passes, just very lightly weather it, while the rest are going to be mostly black. So it can also give you a chance to see the safety striping on all the steps along the engine, and those are going to we'll go ahead and weather those ones up as well, and paint those white. So that's what it looks like on this side, and then on the other side of the engine, you can see it is mostly the same. All the grills are black. However, on this one, and the very front here, there are these two, well actually there's 3, metal pieces. They're made out of aluminum, or they are aluminum, and they have an aluminum color to them. So we're actually going to mask those pieces off separately and paint those aluminum, and then the inside is going to be painted black. And later in the video I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so first and foremost, and it's kind of something I forgot to say at the beginning of the video, is make sure you wash your hands. You're going to want very clean hands when weathering, and that's something I should have said in the last video, is you do not want to get any fingerprints on this engine at all, because they will stay there. So make sure you have clean hands. Anyways, first thing is first, is we're going to go ahead and take out these removable grills out of the back. Like I said, any parts that are removable, do it. It'll make the weathering that much more realistic. And these grills in the back are removable, and they just pop out so easily. Just grab the plastic piece that runs from the front of the back at the very end where the rear window is, and one of the grill pieces should just already come off, that plastic piece, and just pop that out, and then take the second one that's still attached and pop both of those out like so, and go ahead and get these out of there. Alright, so we have two of them right there, and you can see they're just these little grill pieces. So we'll go ahead and put those aside and repeat for the other side of the shell. Just pop these out, and they come out very easily. And then put these ones aside as well. Once you pop them out, just go ahead and put that plastic piece back into place, so you don't have to worry about getting the breaking or anything. So now that we've finished taking the grills out, as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and finish masking off the rest of this engine, and we'll actually start on this side. This will be the little easier side, and we're just gonna take some tape and cover the rest of the engine with the tape. Now I'm using the small 3M masking tape, and I explained it in the previous video which tape I used. It's just 3M, and I got it from Walmart for like $4. All you're going to want to do is mask off everything else on the engine and only expose that particular grill. In this case it's the rear grill. Make sure you mask off a lot, because sometimes the paint has a tendency to spray, and you do not want it to spray. And if you can, do not press down with the tape. Just lightly put it on and let the stickiness that it has do the rest, and I guarantee you it will stick. You don't even barely have to push down on it at all. I know my hands are probably in the way here. I'll show you what I did in just a second. So I went ahead and masked off that grill right there, and as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and show you here. It's just this one grill. Everything else is masked off with the whole rest of the engine. And that's all. That's what you're gonna want to do with that one. Also, if you can, though, go ahead and cover up the two holes where the grills that we took out came from, because you don't want to paint inside there and get anything inside the shell. Second part is to finish masking off the rest of the grills. Just take your tape and go ahead and line it up as even as you can with the side of that grill, just like so, making sure that you cover all of the engine lengthwise, or excuse me, widthwise, and then just repeat that process for every side of the grill. And remember, you don't have to push down. Very light application of the tape will do. Alright. Alright, so I went ahead and finished masking off the engine, and what you're probably thinking at the first look here is that's a lot of tape. And you're right, it is. It's a lot of tape, but this engine is important. You've been working on it for a long time. Make it look the best. Last thing you want to do is paint anything incorrectly. So all of this tape just to mask off these two grills, and that's not even everything that's being painted on this side of the engine. There's still one grill right here that's covered up that we're going to have to uncover and then remask off. But that's all we're going to do. So the next part's pretty self-explanatory, and that would be to just paint these grills, and it's actually pretty easy. I'll show you the process of what I do, but it's going to be so quick. All we're going to do is just spray this and this with grimy black, and that's it. Alright guys, so we're outside now to start weathering these grills. I got my grimy black mixed up, and we're just going to go ahead and paint those grills. This is a very quick process, and it's going to go very quickly. Alright, so all we're going to do is hit the grills. I usually stand up when I do this. Alright, and that's it really. Those grills. But it's okay because you're wearing the gloves. Just go ahead and hit them with grimy black. That's about it for these grills. Alright guys, so I went ahead and finished painting the rest of the grills and stuff. So now it's time to take the paint or the masking tape off, and we'll see exactly what it looks like. I went ahead and that's a positive about having so much tape is you can reuse it multiple times for different things. But already you can see as you take the tape off, it really makes the engine pop and look good. And the cool thing is that each grill is going to be a little darker than the other one. They're not all going to be uniform. And that's what you want. You don't want them to all be uniform. You want them to kind of have a little bit different look. Because if they all look uniform, it's just going to look very, I don't know what the right word would be, maybe like manufactured. Oh, sorry guys, I'm taking off all this tape without even being able to see it. But there'll be the other side as well. So, that's all the tape. So, all that work for that effect right there. And you can see these grills painted black. This one did get weathered, but as we saw in the prototype picture, it was very light. And this one I intentionally did darker than the other two, just to kind of give it a little more added effect. Once we go ahead and hit the other side, we'll go ahead and add back in these pieces that go right here. And once it's all together, it'll really look good. Alright, so here's the other side of the engine. Very similar to the first side that we already did. These, again, were already taken out, so I don't have to worry about those. But on this side, we have this grill here, this one and this one, these two, and these are the two that I was talking about with the aluminum. And the aluminum pieces are going to be that one, this one in the middle, and this one on the end right here. I'm going to shoot all of those in aluminum colored paint. And then we have this small grill down here. And this one's going to be a little tricky just because it's got this little notch in it. But I did it on the Athearn one, so it's actually doable and easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and mask this off really quick. You guys already saw how to mask off the engine and or mask off the grills. So I'm going to speed through that so we can go ahead and head outside and shoot these again. And all you want to do is just paint right in the area of where you have it masked off at. And that's all the paint that you need to use, is just those three spots right there, and that's it. Hit this really quick. And that's all you have to do. We have all three of these grills nicely painted. Next thing to do is we're going to go ahead and mask off and get ready for these two. Like I said, we need to mix up a little bit of aluminum for this part. But right now we just need to shoot these two pieces right here black. So I'm going to go ahead and mask off the engine and get it ready for that. And again, the exact same technique that I've been using applies for this, so I won't show you that. Alright guys, so moving on to another part of the detail weathering for this Kato P42 is weathering the wheels and rusting up the wheels. And for those of you that are in the modeling community that do your weathering yourself, you will know that Flowquill paints, which is what I use for the base colors for the weathering, they are no longer in business, so I was not able to get the paint colors that I wanted for rusting these wheels. However, I did get another color that I've used before for wheels, and that's actually going to be the Model Master acrylic paint, and this stuff will work good. And it is the leather color right there, and that's kind of what it looks like. And it's a little bit red, and what I'll do is I'll darken it down with some of the grimy black to make a better color on the wheels. But first, I'm going to show you actually how to take apart these wheels on these Kato P42s. You want to pop off the truck. They come out really easily. They are each truck has their own separate motor in it, so they come out really easily. So that's the first thing you want to do, is just go ahead and pop the motor out so you can get full access. And just go ahead and carefully pop off these the truck frames on the sides. And you have to be kind of careful with this because this is the part that's fragile. They are attached on the inside by a little rod, and if you can, I'm just going to use the X-Acto knife. All you need to do is just slide that out, and these will come off pretty easily. Then once you do that, you have this last piece right here, and that would be this piece. That would be the next thing to go ahead and take off. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that off, and there's these two little tabs on the side. All you have to do is just push down on them. They're right above the wheels. You'll see them. And they're going to kind of be a pain to get off at first. Keep in mind everything is still tight from the factory, so nothing is going to come off easily. And that's how it is with any new engine. That's how it is. So let me go ahead and pop this off, and we'll move on from there. Alright, so I popped off the top part for the trucks, and when you do that, you will see they come off like this, and the wheels just just come right out like that. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and weather these wheels and rust them up. And this would also be the same time that you're going to do your couplers. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab your Kato couplers and rust those up. So let's go ahead and head out, and we'll go ahead and rust up these wheels and then put these trucks back together. We're outside again now to go ahead and paint these wheels. And I also have two Kato couplers here that are going to be painted rust. This is going to be two-stage painting, is what I call it. And we're going to be using two different colors here. We're going to be using the black and that leather color I showed you earlier. Those are going to be our two base colors. For this, we're going to shoot everything the rust color first, and then we're going to go over it again with the grimy black to dull it down a little bit. So we have to be careful when we do these wheels because they have the gears in the middle, and you don't want to get any paint in the gears because that will really mess it up. So when we do this, we're going to hold the wheels just like this, and I'll show you. Alright, so you can see how I'm holding the wheel, and you just want to hold it so you're just exposing the wheel, and we'll do that on both sides like that as well. Don't mind the Metrolink going by. I live very close to the tracks here, so you can hear all the Metrolink trains and stuff. Anyways, we're gonna hold the wheels just like so to protect those gears and stuff. So let's go ahead and start weathering this, and I'll show you exactly what we do here. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and shoot this first wheel here. It's leather color. Do that, we're going to go ahead and set it aside. Okay, that's it for the wheels. So just going to go ahead and leave the wheels like so, let those dry, and we're going to go ahead and shoot these couplers now. Okay, and that's going to be it for our leather color for the rust. So we'll come back and we'll go ahead and shoot it the second part for the add the black to dull it down a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes since I shot the wheels with the leather rust color. So now it's going to be time to go ahead and use our black, grimy black color. And in order to do this, you're going to want to use a very small control on the airbrush. You don't want very much black coming out at all, because you're not painting the wheels black, you're just adding a little black tint to them. So just like so before, I'm just going to shoot it black a little bit just to dull down the color. Very little amount on each side. And that'll be it. And that's all you really have to do for that. To dim them down, make them look more like a steel color rather than a rusty color. You're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the couplers here. And that's it. Now, you heard me talking earlier in part 1 of the video about the dull coat, and that's what I have right here. This would be the time to apply the dull coat now to the wheels, because this is all that we're going to be doing to the wheels. We're not going to be doing anything else. and you can't really dull coat the wheels or the couplers that well when they're on the engine. So we're going to go ahead and do them separately now. We're going to let the black paint dry, and then we'll go ahead and come back and apply the dull coat, which is a very easy process. Alright, so I've let the wheels dry for a couple minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the dull coat. This is just a spray adhesive, and just a quick pass on each side of the wheel face is all you're going to need to do. Just like so. And set it aside. Okay. And that's it. So all I did is I took the dull coat or lacquer, the spray lacquer, which is just like a just a regular spray can, and just sprayed all the wheel faces. And that's about it for this step of the weathering. We did the wheels and the couplers now, so we're going to let these dry out for a couple minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting the engine back together. These are the last little pieces that needed to be done, so we're going to go ahead and put the engine back together now. Alright guys, so it's time to enter the final stages of weathering for this engine, and there's a couple minor steps that we're going to have to go through in order to finish it, but overall it's going to basically just be reassembling the engine and then applying the dull coat spray lacquer around the engine once we're all done. We want to add the white safety stripe or safety paint, or just a white, onto the steps of the ladder. So that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I already did 3 of them, so I'm just going to show you what I did. It's really easy. You're going to want to use a very fine tip paintbrush. I'm using this IMEX number 9726 paintbrush. You can get any fine tip paintbrush at your local hobby shop, but you're going to want to use a very fine tip one. And then I'm just using testers, just gloss white, or just plain white paint. Any white paint will work here. This does not need to be special. We're not going to airbrush this on. You're going to actually hand paint it. And I will try to show you as best I can, but you can generally see what I'm doing. And then I'll show you once I'm done. So that's what I did right there. I added the first white line, or white paint mark. I don't know how clear you can see that, but I think you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. And you're just going to do that for all 3 of these steps here. Okay, and that's it. So just put that aside and let it dry, and this will add such a cool effect when you put it on the engine. It's just going to add that much more detail. Also, one thing I did that I didn't show you guys, but it went along the same steps as everything else, is I went ahead and painted the aluminum color pieces right here, and you can see that they have more of an aluminum color, and it really adds some detail to the engine. So I went ahead and did that, and that's what that looks like. So overall, now we're ready to start piecing this engine back together. Alright, so now we're going to move back on to the shell. I went ahead and put in the 2 side grills that get removed, and they're kind of see-through, so it's probably hard to see here that they're actually back in. Actually, they are see-through. You can see right through it. But they look good. Nice and weathered up. So we're going to go ahead and add these back in. Now these are tricky. On the backs of these grills, I don't know how well you can see it, there's a peg there and another peg on that side. Those snap into the plastic piece that runs along the side of the shell here, and you have to make sure you put them in the right way or they will not stay in. So all you're going to want to do that is when you go to place them in, just line them up with the proper corresponding holes on the plastic piece, or actually the snap-in joints rather, on this plastic piece. And once you line it up, they'll go ahead and pop right in. And that is all you have to do for that. So you have all those, the grills snapped back in. So the next step is the final step of the detail weathering, and that's going to be to stencil with the pencil around all of the doorways and whatnot. And I'm going to actually show you an Athern shell that was weathered previously, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so here's what I was talking about with that Athern shell and adding the pencil to add some definition to the doors and cracks, and that's what I'm talking about right along here. And that's all I did. Is you just take a lead pencil and you're going to want to just go over those cracks, and it will add more detail like dirt or whatnot. And I already did that to one side of this Kato shell, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like if you do it properly. And you could see I added it around this door and here, and then I also did it up along these two openings, whatever those are, plus around the AC grill in the front, and as well as the front door to the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that now on the other side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and go over the cracks here. All I'm using is a mechanical pencil with 0.7 lead, and I'm not going to show you every single one, but all you want to do is just get in a crack just like this, and if the pencil comes out of the crack and gets on the shell a little bit, that's okay. You're just going to want to use an eraser and lightly erase it away. You have to be careful though, because if you erase hard enough, it'll actually take the paint right off, because there's no lacquer or dull coat on it yet. So just go through all the cracks with a pencil. You can go over it a couple times, but just add a little darkened definition to all the cracks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then we'll come back in a second and I'll show you what it looks like when you're all done. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I finished penciling up the cracks and whatnot on the engine, and here's what it looks like once it's all done. Looks really, it's a cool little effect. It's completely optional. You do not have to do this. The engine will still looks good without it, but you can see that it really just looks good. So next step, now that we're done with this, and the engine's mostly put back together, is it's time to dull coat the engine and do the final assembly of putting it back together. So let's go ahead and get ready to dull coat it. Alright guys, so we're outside again now, and we're going to go ahead and dull coat the engine with the Tester's spray lacquer here, and I'm making sure that the engine's in direct sunlight so it dries faster, and all you're going to want to do is just spray this directly on the engine. So here we go. Alrighty, and that's going to be about it. I'm just going to hit this front one more time, and then just let the engine sit out here in the sunlight. I know it's kind of hard to see, it's kind of really overexposed, but you can generally see what it looks like there. So once you let the dull coat dry, then we're going to go ahead and take it back inside. We'll take the shell back off, and we'll go ahead and put back in the headlights, and we'll take off all the masking off the windows. Alright guys, so we're in the last and final stages of the weathering project for this Kato P42. And the final part now is to go ahead and take off the masking tape. And that'll be off all the windows. I went ahead and I put all the parts back on, all the couplers are back on, all the light tubing is back inside the engine. And then once I go ahead and take all this off, we're going to go ahead and test the engine and make sure it runs smoothly and clean off the wheels. And then we'll call this project done and finished, and it'll be in the book. So what I'm going to do is very carefully, I'm going to take the X-Acto knife and I'm just going to go right in the corner of that tape, grab a corner and start lifting it up. Alright, that's it for all the masking tape. It's all been removed. The absolute last and final step of this project is we're going to go ahead and clean off the wheels and test the engine and make sure it runs good. And then we're going to call this project officially in the books. Alright guys, so the wheels have been cleaned, and as you can see, they were filthy after our weathering project that we did. It takes several passes to get the wheels clean. The last and final thing to do, and this is the ultimate best feeling, is when you go ahead and power up the track and see your finished project looking just fantastic on the track. So here we go. You're going to want to test run it and make sure it runs good. And as you can see, it does. It runs perfectly smooth in forward and in reverse. And I already powered it up all the way, so it runs very good. So this is going to conclude the weathering demonstration for this Amtrak Kato P42DC number 161 with tsunami sound. I hope my video was helpful to you guys. I'm going to do a lot more of these videos. This is going to conclude the weathering demonstration. I will have another video of how to add the detail parts. We're going to add the side mirrors. I'm going to add windshield wipers, and I'm even going to add an ATS shoe onto the axle. That's just going to really finalize everything. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Rate, comment, subscribe this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And tell me what you think. If you're interested in me doing a project for you, send me a private message, and I may be willing to work something out. So if you'd like me to work on anything, like I said, just send me a private message, and we'll see what we can work out together. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you soon.